Hey, good morning, everybody, and good afternoon to you folks that are in Central Europe or Africa or further east. It's Warren Conley here, coming to you from healthierlife.tv from a very sunny and beautiful conditioned Hungary, where my co-presenter is
Paul Bursey.
looking to come out and visit at sometime soon. So I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah, Paul Bursey from Essex in the UK, or near London, just outside of London. I'm from London. So, yeah, it's actually quite a nice day out here. I don't want to see, what's the weather like in Hungary?
As I said, it's a beautiful day today. It's absolute stunning. It's sunny. There's a slight breeze, but it's not too sunny. It's cloudy sunny. You know, that cloudy sunny weather. It's nice.
You remember last week I said I was in the bunker?
Yeah.
Well, I came out of the bunker, and now I'm going back in the bunker. So I did shave, but that was a couple of days ago. So yeah, I put it down to my mindset.
I haven't shaved for about a week, but you can't really see it on me. I'm very blessed that way. You don't really see it. So
right, let's talk about what we're going to talk about today, and really, it's amazing tips for spring cleaning your body. Now, I had to look that up to tell you, because it's because obviously, well, because of things like SEO, it actually becomes a keyword. So you've got to get it right, otherwise you know it won't pick up on what you say in the heading. But so yeah, I know we're coming to the end of spring. I mean, in the UK, it's summertime. Well, summer starts on the 21st of June, so we're still scraping into spring. Funny enough, and so I'm thinking of an all-season spring cleaning checklist, going through about how we can cleanse our body. You know, and so what would you say would be the first thing you would have to sort out? Would you get straight into it, or would you have to do something else first?
is that a trick question? Is it a?
No, really. I'm thinking in terms of your thinking and your mindset and things like that. So
Yeah, I mean, look. First and foremost, it's very simple, but it's not. You just need to make the decision to do it. Once you've made that decision to do the spring cleaning, then the next step is to go and figure out what it is that you may need to do in your own home and your own daily lifestyle in order to spring clean your own body. You know, to cleanse out your system, cleanse out the body, cleanse up your health, and yeah, I think it's just a matter of putting your ducks in a row, so to speak, so that you don't fall short before you've actually completed your goal objective.
So if any particular duck doesn't play ball, you throw him out.
Yeah, you got to throw them out, because otherwise,
change your duck.
And for example, that could be temptations, right? So you want to eliminate temptations. If you're the type of person that has cookies and chocolates and candy and all those nice, sweet, unhealthy, cancer-causing things in your home, and you're intending to spring clean your system out, your body that is, then you want to make sure you either finish all of that first or give it away, or just don't buy any more to keep at home.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I referred to this when I was doing my research as cleaning out. Cleaning out. Now, there's a million and one things you can do to clean out, but definitely the first one is your attitude. You know, not you personally, but if your attitude is pretty poor when it comes to healthy habits or getting rid of bad habits, that's the first place to start. And not to so you attack yourself and say how stupid I am and all this type of thing, but to say, look, I'm going to improve things. You know, and if you can improve things 5-10%, you're on the right track.
That's all you need to start off with, right?
Yeah.
If you are 5 to 10% ahead of your own game, then you are 5 to 10% ahead of the rest of the population. Because most people, like for example, some of the stuff that Paul and I are going to be going through today, you logically speaking, you would know what it is we're going to talk about. but you probably never think about them because it's just not part of your agenda as such.
Or not enough.
Yeah, or not enough. Yeah. So, it's really not rocket science. And however, what we're going to talk about, for example, the points that I'm going to touch on they're kind of like medically reviewed as being beneficial for you. You know what I mean? This is not blah, blah. It's very simple, basic things. It doesn't take a lot of effort. You just need the discipline.
You know that when we do things, we actually, a lot of the reasons we do it is to remind ourselves.
That too, yeah. That's why we're teachers, and that's why we're in service.
We have to remind ourselves, and it's easier doing this than actually writing something down. But I tell you, I've had to decide to make a decision. I've always been okay with hydration, but even I've got to spruce it up because I've noticed over the last 10 days that I've been not following my good habits.
Okay.
And it's very easy to let things slide.
Sure.
And so I've got up it. I mean, I normally try to have at least 2 liters of fluid a day. That's apart from tea and all those type of things, But and it's down. It literally was down to a third of a liter. Now, how did that slip in over the last 10 days?
Or how did that slip out?
Or slip out? Yeah, it didn't just. So things like that. And we got to keep paying attention to things and being aware of what we're doing or not doing. And another thing I was thinking about doing was blitzing the cupboard, the fridge, and the freezer.
Yeah, well, this is what I was saying. Yeah, if you want to be easily tempted, then make sure you just get rid of whatever's stocked up in your home, and don't buy any more until you're done doing what you want to do.
It was really weird. I went past I live in a place called Whittam, and they had a Whittam hub, which obviously helps people, and because obviously not everyone's on the same income level, and sometimes you need a bit of help. And they were saying, and they had a list of things that they wanted, and it was all tins, tins.
Mm-hmm.
Now I get it. I mean, if you've got very much, then a tin of pineapple's fantastic, But it was I'm not really into tins. So if I wanted to contribute, then I would have to go and buy a load of tins to go and give them,
Yeah.
Rather than,
which is fine because tins keep.
Yeah. They do.
But one of the things that, just a sidebar here, what many people don't factor in or not necessarily aware of is that once you open up a tin, whatever's in that tin should be eaten.
Or put it in something else. Take it out. You can open the tin, take it out of the tin. Put it in a Tupperware, a little Tupperware.
Yeah, something like that.
But even then, you use it in a short space of time. But at least it gives you a little bit longer. The metal of the tin going in the drink. But so blitz in the cupboard, and get rid of some of those little cheats, which I did. Mm-hmm. I have done. I'm not going to tell you what little cheats, but I do like a little cheat now and then. So the next thing I was thinking about was transforming your physical activity, because I think it's again, it's something that needs sprucing up quite regularly, because you get bored. You get, I don't know what the word is. You just it's a bit stale in a work. If you're doing the same thing all the time. And I think you should, if you haven't been swimming for a long time, go swimming. That type of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, it does, and it doesn't have to be a physical activity either. It could be reading a book. Because that can actually spring clean your mind. Reading a book can just help your mind be at ease for a while. It's like watching a movie. If you've got a good book, although I don't read fictional books, I only read stuff that are things that are educational, personal development stuff. But reading a good book, it just helps you to remove yourself from the outside world for a while, and that's going to help your mind just to be put at ease for a bit. And it's a great thing if you start to do reading every morning. Like I read every morning in my first hour. One of the things I do is I read. So
absolutely, yeah, I'm doing more reading now. I've done for a long time. The next thing was purging sugar and and sugar and unseen sugar, if you see my point. So going back to those tins.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't give the tins. What I'm saying is that you have to be aware of this hidden sugar that's in things, and go for the more natural things.
Yes.
But purge the sugar that's in your. Now I have family members that come around and want sugar in their tea or coffee, so I make sure it's there. So I'm not going to go too berserk, but I'm not going to have too much in there, because I don't use sugar. So, but I make up for it on other things. But I don't go berserk anyway. And then you've got to reset and overhaul your sleeping patterns and routines. Yeah, because they are another thing. Again, last night I went to bed at a good time and I ended up watching videos till 1 a.m. Didn't realise. And I think, no, can't do that. Can't do that.
That's the worst place to watch from bed because.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you're so comfortable. You're watching something that obviously you want to watch because otherwise you wouldn't be watching it.
But even if you fall asleep, and that's still going, you're not getting good sleep. You're not getting quality sleep.
That's right. So again, I'm going to bring the time back down to a reasonable time and not watch stuff in bed so much. So it's very easy to do things. Very easy to fall back into bad patterns. And the last thing is just rethinking your diet, because now we're moving from casseroles and stews and soups and things like that, although you can still have them now, into the lighter things, like salads, Mediterranean diet, and lots of extra virgin olive oil, and So
this is where seasonal foods are very, very beneficial for us.
Oh yeah.
You want to try to eat as much seasonal as you can, especially as the weather gets hotter and things like this, because, like you say, those foods are lighter, they're more refreshing typically, and that's what our body needs. I typically eat pretty much very similar throughout the year. I don't, although from season to season I do change a little bit, but typically the types of foods that I'm eating are very much the same throughout the year. But then I'm adding in those different fruits, I'm adding in the different vegetables. That is just what I'm cooking is pretty much the same throughout the year because that's how I like to eat. But you want to still have seasonal foods in your diet. It's important because the body needs those certain nutrients that supplement either the lack of sunshine or the additional sunshine. The warm weather, the cold weather, the body needs the nutrients that are supplemented by those foods that we eat in those times of the year. So it was so difficult in Dubai, living in Dubai for more than 10 years, because it's just either hot or extremely hot. So, there's no such thing as really seasonal there. And eating heavier foods, it's not always comfortable because of the heat. So you very often you find yourself eating lighter foods all the time, but it gets,
one thing you do get a lot of is sand.
Yeah, you can get a lot of sand in your food if you're eating.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
If you're eating al fresco, you can get a lot of sand in your food. That's not fun.
So I'm going to throw a question out there to each viewer, listener, whatever. And as I say, we go at Facebook Live, YouTube, and lots of podcasts. This is the question you should ask yourself: how do I cleanse my body? Now, think about that. What's some of the things you can do? Now, we're not going to necessarily go into that unless Warren wants to, but we just want you to think about it as an individual. How am I going to cleanse my body? And there's lots of different things you can do with fluids and food, or fasting. So it's not all one thing. And but base it on this: the future of the health and wellness centers around prevention. All right, you know that proactivity is the key here, and unfortunately we get sold a lot of duff stuff from the food industry, and we get dealt with not so well sometimes in the health industry, as in hospitals and things like that, because they have strict protocols they have to follow. Okay, and it's not necessary. The people that work there, it's what they're used to, it's what they've been trained in, and they have serious walls coming in on them on what they can do and what they can't do. And we believe in rather to eat your way to freedom and to health and wellness, rather than using pharmaceuticals. Now they have their place, obviously. But it is a place. At the moment, I think it's too heavily weighted the other way.
Yeah.
And I think we need to get back to prevention rather than cure, which they don't really do anyway. So that's not knocking out. I love the NHS in London, in England and that. And
a lot of these people do amazing. They do amazing jobs, amazing work. Yeah, and this is something that. I've had this conversation many times with other people. It's, they are so undervalued, the people in the healthcare system, so undervalued. And it's difficult for them. But at the end of the day, like you say, they have strict guidelines and protocols to follow, and they get taught what the powers that be want them to be knowledgeable about.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily something that is beneficial for all of us or any of us, for that matter. But they get shown and guided in a way that is intended for them to just give us something that is more, as you say, you're not preventing something from happening, but you're trying to cure it, and that's not sustainable. It's really not sustainable, because if you're continuously trying to cure something in your body, cure different things that are going on in your body's eventually going to just say enough now. So rather just prevent it from happening in the first place as best that you can. You may not, it's not 100% foolproof, but better to do that than constantly be fighting something else. That's not what we should be doing. We should be just keeping things at bay by preventing them from happening.
Yeah, I don't believe in the nanny state where you expect the government and the health industry, and when I say the health industry, I'm talking about hospitals and doctors and things like that, nurses. You can't expect them to come up with everything. And I know that some people go, first sign of anything, is straight down to doctors. Well, how about a little bit of self-care? A little bit of self-care. Look at self-care and then move towards digital health and testing. You can get testing done on your own. You don't need to go to see people. As I say, we do testing. Oh, where are you gone? Don't know what happened there, right? But we do testing. We do tests for vitamin D. We do testing for omega-3, and these are tremendous indications of how healthy you are. It's not the whole story, of course. We basically center our work on the brain, the gut-brain axis. We deal with the immune system, sleep, and cellular health. That's what we, base our business on. So if you want to know any of those, let us know.
Yeah, I mean, look. If you look at the state of the health of people around the world today, what are the biggest causes of death around the world? They're all related to what you just mentioned now. Not just the heart.
Well, not just the heart, but that's the biggest one. That's the biggest one.
Your central nervous system and your brain with autodegenerative diseases, which are on the climb all the time.
Yeah.
I was talking to a young South African guy the other day in Indonesia. Him and his wife are having an extended honeymoon through Indonesia, and she's in her 20s and she has an autoimmune disease. You never heard of things like that in the past, but it's becoming more and more prevalent. And everything that you mentioned are the biggest causes around the world, depending from country to country, is going to vary, is going to fluctuate here and there. But this is what people are dying from the majority of the time. it's not the others, not the other. Of course, people die from other things, of course, murders, accidents, this and that. But the health related, it's everything you touched on, and this can be taken care of by ourselves, for ourselves. We don't need to depend on the medication system in order to do that.
Absolutely. Well, look, the road to a healthy way of life starts on the inside. It's an inside job, which means it's your responsibility as well. I would say it's 90-10. 90% your responsibility and 10% their responsibility.
Anybody else.
They've still got to put out the right material and make things available to you. But it should be 90%, prevention, 10% where you react to something that's happening.
How often, in all honesty, without being nasty, without being, offending anybody in particular, but how often do people really want to take responsibility for themselves these days?
Well, I remember I did.
No, but this whole nanny state thing that you're talking about, this has become a global mindset. People expect the state to be taking care of them if they get sick. And it's you can't, even if you've got health insurance, all these kinds of things, you can't be depending on that to help save you one day. You got to. It's important to take responsibility, and especially if you've got kids, it's imperative, because otherwise, you may reach my age or Paul's age, 50 and above, and you're no longer there for your children anymore.
That's right. And what the worst thing I see is people growing old before their time. And not only doing that, because you can tell what people look after themselves and what people don't, And it's not the whole answer. We know that, but I would say it's at least 75% of the answer, And you've got to look. You've got to think about giving your body a deep cleanse occasionally. Mate, I don't know, once every 3 months. And there's loads of ways you can do it, and we're not going to go into any specifics at the moment, And the other thing is adopting new health habits. There's so many different things you can do. So with that, I mean, we don't want to go banging on too much. It is a passion of ours. So I'm sorry if we come across.
Yeah, we do get passionate, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to move. I think this is my own personal feeling, and now you can accept it or you can question us on it, and you're quite entitled to. But you've got to be moving towards more clean eating, more organic stuff, and as Warren said earlier, more in season food. Because in the winter, in the summer, as we're just coming up to now, it means that there's more fruits available. Things like mangoes, melons, strawberries. I eat a lot of blueberries. I eat a lot of bananas, and there's oranges, apples, and they all seem to arrive in bulk in the summertime. So why not take advantage of that? And you've got to go after the freshest, most nutrient-dense produce you can get. And unfortunately, a lot of times they're not available. And I know there's shortages at the moment. That's the other thing we've got to think about. There are shortages. So, you've got to be careful what you put in your body. And I'll tell you now, here's a classic example. I was helping my granddaughter do something the other day. And she must be about a quarter of my size. And for her size, she's tremendously strong, and sometimes shows me up. However, right, we were going up, down some stairs with some stuff because I was helping her move. And first time she was out of breath. She's 22. 22. I wasn't. I was up and down the stairs, and I am 3 times her age. Does it work? Proof's in the pudding. Proof's in the pudding.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I know it's not really been a specific thing that we're talking about this week, but it's important that you do something for you. All right? That's all I'll say. because we bang on about a lot of stuff, about hydration, not smoking, all that type of stuff. We bang on all the time about it, and I think it's now time for you to do a little bit of research for you and your family.
Yeah.
So I mean, with that, I'm not going to go any more about spring cleaning. It's down to the individual, but we can guide you if you want. If you want to have a 30-minute talk, I'm quite happy to have a 30-minute talk with you. So Warren, do you want to take us out?
There's not a lot more to say other than getting on my soapbox again and potentially going off the rails, preaching. But I don't want to be preaching either. One thing I want our viewers to understand is that just because the majority of people are doing something a certain way doesn't mean it's right. Just because the majority of people are practicing certain things in a certain way doesn't mean it's right. Okay, and if you have any logic in your bones and you can think independently for yourself, then just think about what is it that you're doing in your life today that needs to be changed. We all have it, all of us. We all have things in our life that need to be changed. And I'm talking about health here specifically. So take a good, honest look at yourself, and don't beat up on yourself. Like Paul said earlier, don't go, I'm useless at this. No, don't beat up on yourself. Give yourself more credit than you probably already give yourself for. We all have so much potential within us to do the right thing for ourselves and our family, and do it. It's not that difficult. It's really not. It just takes a little bit of thinking and foresight, and sometimes you just need some assistance from somebody else. And you don't always have to pay for it either. This is the other thing. People think that if they're going to come to us to talk to us for some advice or some guidance, whatever, is like there's going to be a charge added to it somewhere along the line, or we're going to propose something to them. No. If you just want to have some guidance and stuff, of course we do business, and we want to make money from doing our business. Yes, but that's besides the point. If you need help, then you need to reach out to somebody. It doesn't have to be us, but reach out to somebody for some help and guidance. But just take some responsibility, and don't just take it for granted that because the majority of people are doing something a certain way, it's the right thing. It's not. And most of the time, it's not. If the sheep are doing something, if the lemmings are running towards the cliff, it doesn't mean it's safe. So, yeah.
Unless it's a little cliff.
Unless it's a little cliff.
With a nice big deep bit of water at the end of it. But that doesn't
happen. As a lemming, you're not going to be able to swim, are you? I don't think lemmings can swim.
They don't know. They don't know about water anyway.
No. So I trust you get what I'm saying here, and we do this because we do care. So just take what we say as however you want, but I trust that you take it as sound advice.
I think we're done.
Yes, I trust you.
Okay, so with that, please, if you've got any questions, ask them. Go on healthierlife.tv, and you can go direct onto this video. You can do it on Facebook anyway. But and then we'll get back to you. If you love it, please show your love, and if you don't like it, by all means, let us know, and we'll answer it. And wherever you hear this or see it, please show us a little bit of love, okay? Because it's the only way we can operate. So with that, we're off. We've got lots of things to do. I've got a meeting at 12:30, so have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you next week on healthierlife.tv.
Have a fantastic week, folks.
See you later.